The Kurdish woman sat down in the comfortable and spotlessly clean living room. By all outward appearances, this was just a normal visit from one woman to another, the kind of thing repeated countless times in daily Kurdish society. But this woman knew that there was more going on to this visit than met the eye. In fact, she was on a secret mission. Her adult son was well employed and well respected, but still single. It was high time for that boy to get married. Last week, she had heard that a distant relative's daughter had graduated from university and come back home. Also, still single. She had later spotted this same girl in the bazaar and was impressed by her respectful conduct. She was also a beautiful girl. This was enough for her to reach out and let her distant cousin know that she would be dropping in for tea. Now, seated in the room where guests were hosted, she would have a chance to observe the girl up close to get a sense of her personality and how she showed hospitality. This family had a very good reputation. That meant that if everything went well today with her reconnaissance mission, the next stage, a very important one, would begin. The agreement between the mothers. Yes, later on the men would visit and formalize everything, but the real decisions would start today. Decisions that could shape so much of her family's future. So, she sipped her chai, carefully observed everything, and prayed for wisdom.
Welcome to Rushmal, the Kurdish Culture Podcast. Our goal in this podcast is to explore, understand, and share Kurdish culture for the benefit of Kurds and non-Kurds alike. In each episode, we focus on a different aspect of Kurdish culture and how it affects everyday life. Like every culture, Kurdish culture is diverse and always changing. Our hope is to explore both the historic traditions and modern variations, highlighting the opportunities and acknowledging the challenges. With deep respect and admiration, we invite others to join us as we continue to learn more. So, come on into the Rushmal, the black tent where countless generations of Kurds have lived. Let us serve you a hot cup of Kurdish chai, and we hope you enjoy the conversation.
Welcome, friends, to Rushmal, Episode 5. And if you're wondering what's going on with this secret mission, you probably guessed it right. We're talking about engagement and marriage in this 5th episode. And joining us today, we have our regular friends, Mamosta Andy and Mamosta Sarhad. Welcome, guys.
Thank you so much, Mamosta Stephen.
Great to be back. Thanks, Stephen.
Yeah, and also today we have a special guest, Shabin. Shabin Han, welcome. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well. Hey, thanks so much for joining today to talk about this topic. Shabin, could you give us a little background in your own story, how you ended up here on a Kurdish culture podcast, and then particularly maybe what excites you about this topic of engagement and marriage, which we'll be discussing today?
I am Shabin, Kurdish from Syria, but I'm living in the Hook now. So I'm working with Susie.
Yeah, you're working with Dilsozi Press?
Yes, I have 2 kids and my husband is American. For me, I'm so excited. People like, what is the Kurdish culture for wedding? I like it. And also, because now my kids have American cousin and other cousin. Also, my cousins have Chinese wife, and I like share the art cultures with people. I'm so excited about this.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for joining us. Thank you, Shabin. You're also a regular part of our research calls as well. And so thank you for being a part of that. So I want to dive in. We started with this really cool story of a lady on a mission. And Andrew, it seemed like when the story ended there that the thing was going to really escalate if this mission of observation was a positive one and had a positive outcome. So I just kind of want to think through all the steps of engagement. I guess first, what are the things that we need to know coming right out of the gate that someone not from Kurdistan, not as familiar with the culture, is going to need to know about this whole process, this whole journey to engagement and then marriage?
Well, very briefly, the steps of the process are very, very different from the traditional steps of the courtship and engagement and wedding process in Western countries. So that's important to know up front. We might come with our sort of threefold categories. You have dating, and then you have engagement, and then you have the wedding process. Well, we are about to introduce something much more complex. and not fitting the same boxes. So that's
Yeah.
important to know up front.
That's right. As Mouse Andrew said, the process is much complicated. Most important thing that we can share here is dating in the sense of that exists in the Western culture. It does not exist among the Kurds. The first important step to start this great process, you have to find a spouse to marry. That's really important for us. Everything is changed nowadays. In the past, marriage was very traditional and only between relatives and within the same tribe, especially in the same village. So, and at that time in the past, there was a phenomena called wife to wife. That is, both sides gave each other's girls, daughters, means the groom's sister would become the bride of the other's household and vice
And you
versa.
said that was called wife to wife?
Wife to wife, yeah. Shabin, I
Okay.
think you may be familiar with this kind of phenomena in the past, and that's really rare nowadays. But I think it's still happening, let's say, countryside in some villages. As you know, Kurdistan is a very huge land. You can find, the same phenomena nowadays, but it's very rare, especially in the big cities.
Mm-hmm.
I think, Shabin, you may have experience with this kind of phenomena, especially in Rojava, in Western Kurdistan.
Yeah, I think in Rojava also, and I see in the Hook. It's also in the Hook. We have, maybe now it's changed. Yes, you're right. Before, the man, he cannot say like, oh, we like each other, or we meet before, or we date before. That's his life. No.
Yeah, the other way, the parents choose or identify the girl from the village for their son. The son should accept, and it's very disrespectful and shameful to refuse the girl that his parents identify from the village from the relatives. But at that time, in the past, it was not common to have, let's say, dating or fall in love with one another and getting married with one another. But finding someone to marry can be done in several ways, such as, let's say, finding someone relative or non-relative that's still active among the Kurds. That's right for, I think, most of the geographical locations of Kurdistan, that our people desire to get married with someone as a relative, within the same tribe, especially from those areas that still, the tribal mindset is active and people strongly believe it's going to be very, very better to get married with someone that we are familiar with, that or he is our relatives.
And this helps with the reputation piece. You know the reputation of your relatives. And so it's very helpful on that front. You know the family very well because you're blood relatives or relatives through marriage. It also helps with the strategy to keep wealth in the family.
That's
what
right.
I understand. So if you are marrying a relative, then the wealth, all the wealth that's exchanged during the marriage process, all of that stays within the same extended family. And so it's also a way to preserve intergenerational wealth.
Yeah, this is already sounding a lot more complex than the Western tradition of, do you want to go see a movie or get dinner and we'll go on a date? There's a lot happening behind the scenes, and these two people who may be married have not even met yet, potentially, it sounds like. And so, yeah, can we walk through this process then? Because what you guys are talking about is a real journey toward marriage. And so far we've talked about women visiting a house and the importance of, even before that visit, having a good reputation and understanding how the family lines are working, which tribes are involved. So let's get to where we were in this story. What exactly was happening in that intro story where we saw the lady coming to visit and scope things out?
So this story would be an example of the second situation that Mamosta Sarhad referred to. So not a woman for woman exchange, a bride for bride exchange, but rather the mother is aware of an eligible young woman. She thinks this girl might make a good bride for my son. And so
Yeah.
she's now going to go do some secret research and find out what she can about this girl and make observations up close in the household and try to learn more. And correct me if I'm wrong, but if this goes well, then she'll bring it up with the girl's mother. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we have two ways. For example, if the potential groom's family identifies a girl, and the girl is not a relative, So the groom's mother herself, along with a daughter or a sister, will go to the person's family as an official visit. It's a kind of scouting, gathering information about the family, just to see the lady face to face, and just to evaluate the family, the girl, everything related to the family, because they are the potential family just to get married with their daughter. And it's a very essential scouting visit just to gather information about the family. But if the girl is relative, so the women among themselves openly discussion about this issue, of course, without letting the men knows. At the first, it's just a womanly negotiation about, this process.
Mm-hmm.
Then, it's all about official visits, whether you know or you don't know the family very well. When the women agree, then they will let their men to have such a kind of intention, to get married with someone's daughter, whether if she is from a relative side or from a non-relative side.
Okay. So let me ask, you talked about intentions there at the end. The family who's being visited, are they going to understand what's happening in this moment whenever a lady shows up for tea? Are they going to understand this is a scouting mission? Shabin, you're shaking your head, yes.
Yeah, 100% they know, because when they go, some people ask how they know us. If somebody come to visit me for my daughter, I will ask him, who are you and how you know us? They will say somebody talking about your daughter, she's very good, and we're looking the wife for our son. And that's why I will tell my daughter, okay, somebody coming to looking to you if you be looking good wife.
So maybe not as much of a secret mission as we thought. Maybe there's a bit more clarity on the other side. So let's say this scouting mission has gone well. And then you said, Sarhad, at this point, it would escalate to a more formal conversation.
Yeah, that's right. So the women have agreed. And of course, the women tell their men too. So after the potential bride's house agrees, an official delegation consisting of men, especially from the groom's family, and women together. So they will visit the potential bride's family to formally ask for their daughter's hand in marriage for their son. So the size of delegation really important, because, for example, if you have mature people, in the delegation, it shows the seriousness of your proposal to this lady. So that formal visit can let the family that that's our intention. I came here because we would love to be, let's say, relatives, would love to ask for your daughter's hand to our son. So sometimes this delegation will have a mullah, an Islamic figure, especially for Muslim family, just to carry weight to the delegation. Because sometimes in this official visit, both of the families are ready. It depends on the families and the situation. Maybe the mullah perform the marriage contract, orally. That's why from this visit, they will talk to one another. They will serve the guests from the groom's family with fruit, with tea, things like that. They will show a lot of respect, because we believe if someone is coming to our house to ask our daughter's hand, we have to show our respect, because they see us in a very high level socially. Yeah.
Okay. I have a question. As I was reading through the research call notes and thinking through this, you mentioned just now the mullah may show up for this formal engagement meeting and may even orally recite the wedding vows. Are they married at that point if he does that, or is he just giving the terms? I kept wondering as I was reading the notes, at what point are these people actually husband and wife? Because it's such a gray.
Well, I've been very confused, because I've had students in the past tell me, I got married, and I'll say, oh, congratulations. When was the wedding? Oh, the wedding's not for another month. And I'll be very confused. I'll say, what do you mean you got married, but the wedding's not yet? And they would say, well, it's my wife, but we haven't had the wedding party yet. So when is this official?
It's not much easy that you are thinking to claim that you are a husband or a wife. You have to get, the last stage of marriage process, which is that we call, the grand wedding party. You will be the fiancé. You are engaging, but you are not a wife and a husband right now. So you have to be in the last stage of the game. And then when you are, we say, the transition day. Okay, Roji Guasnawa. Yeah, I mean,
So Sarhad, was the mullah then just presenting the terms of the marriage?
we have two kind of marriage contract. The first one is orally. It's recite performed by a mullah orally between, the both of the potential bride and groom's family. It's not formal and recognizable by the government, but, people will do that religiously and culturally. And then they have to go to the court to sign the formal engagement contract. So the mullah
Engagement contract.
Yeah, so the mullah is there just to do that, the first step. There are other steps they have to go to a hospital to take the blood test if they are appropriate for one another to get married as a wife and a husband in the future. And the other thing is the mullah is there for talking about the dowry, which is the most of the visit. Once both families have agreed in principle, they negotiate dowry. So the mullah is there and he will explain, let's say, the Islamic principles about importance, the significance of dowry and things like that, just to give the weight for this agreement, orally.
Okay, that's helpful.
And also, they cannot go out together and know each other more. If they want to sit by themselves, that's be okay because it's a halal because mullah he right. And yeah, that's a lot of people they do, and they do here. Actually, they go to mullah before if they are go out together, dating, walking. People, for example, the bride cousin, he cannot. Oh, why you are with? He's still not your husband. Why you are with him by yourself? If they are see him in the road, for example, if they are walking, he was like, no, we go to mullah. He's writing, and it's like, oh, okay.
Shabin, after the engagement contract orally by a mullah, then the mullah led the potential bride and groom just to have time together.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
My sister, she did this. She ride by mullah, and they can go out by themselves. My mom, she cannot, like, don't go. He's still like, you didn't marriage yet, or something like cannot do it.
To be honest, culturally, we don't prefer to let both of them, to spend time to one another because we believe they might make a mistake while they haven't been married yet because we are still waiting for the transition date, the grand wedding party. And at that time, they can live as wife and husband. So maybe in some areas, people will ask the mullah just to let them go out together. We're really curious about that, and we believe it has some side to having time together while they are still in the engagement period. So we believe as a Kurd, engagement should not be too long. I think, according to my experience based in southern Kurdistan, the engagement period lasts from 1 week to 1 year. And we believe if the engagement period is less, so it's going to be very important and very useful to us because people are afraid if something happened badly. That's why they said, okay, we push them just to get married and go to the last stage of marriage, which is the transition date, the grand wedding party.
Okay, Andrew.
Well, it's interesting to hear that in some parts of Kurdistan, getting the mullah's involvement to lend weight maybe in the second visit early on can give the couple a chance to know each other. You still have this desire of young couples to know each other, and there's different strategies in the culture for how they try to get to know each other somewhat before their marriage, even though it's not always, doesn't always happen and traditionally wasn't as common. Actually, cousins got married a lot because they actually had opportunities to spend lots of time and know each other when they didn't have opportunity to spend time with sort of non-relatives. And so you sort of have an advantage there for cousins. They could get to know each other and they could say, I think this person, relatives, this person I'm related to could actually make a good spouse because I've had the opportunity to get to know them. We also heard on our research call today about the bazaar that the bazaar is also one place where young couples who are trying to get to know each other, they can sort of go to a crowded public place like the bazaar and they can get in some opportunities to get to know each other a little bit in the bazaar. There's strategies for these young couples that I think are important to mention as well.
That's really helpful. Okay, so we've talked about, Sarhad, you started hitting on dowry and marriage contract. And as far as I can tell, we still have a long way to go, though, before we get to what you call transition day.
Yeah.
So can we think for a minute about what's in a marriage contract, and also, what we mean when we're talking about, you said the bride price, the dowry.
The oral engagement contract by a mullah is just reciting and repeating something you are saying after the mullah says, sometimes in Arabic language, sometimes in Kurdish language. It's just, a routine. But the most important part from this night, those things generally should be done in a night, not in a day. They negotiate about dowry, which is a gift that the groom is obligated to give to the bride. So in Kurdish culture, the dowry is typically settled in gold and determined by mutual agreement. Depends on the regions and circumstances of the family, especially the economic and financial conditions. Shabin lives in the Hook. In some areas, they require a large amount of gold. And
Shabin says a lot. Wait, time out. When we say a lot, what are we talking about? How much gold is a lot?
1 kilo, 2 kilos.
yeah.
And how many dollars you want? That's a lot, actually.
Yeah. Asking for the amount of gold varies, depends on the geographical locations and family conditions. So, but Duhok, I think that's what I've heard from Erbil, and have some, friends and relatives from Duhok. Duhok is well known for asking a large amount of gold. While, it's totally different from Suli and Erbil in the middle. They are asking not too much and it's not too less. But nowadays, while gold is too expensive, people, they know and they see, they can read the reality and the situation. They will ask less for gold just to make the process easier.
And that gold is given to the lady's family, her father?
No. It's totally for the lady herself.
Wow. It's for herself. Okay.
Yes. Now is more or less. They don't asking now about a lot because the gold is very expensive now. But before they asking, how you say, the belt, the kamat, that says the man give the bride this. He should.
That was a belt? Is that what you said?
Yeah, it's a golden belt.
Yes. It's a gold belt. That is for Kurdish dress.
They are asking for a golden belt, and they prefer to have this kind of golden jewelry for their wedding party. It's one of the most significant kind of jewelry a bride is asking. Because of the, let's say, economic conditions, sometimes the potential groom's family borrows money to buy gold or, this kind of jewelry and other necessities. Sometimes,
Sarhad, who do they go to borrow the money from?
Close relatives, fathers, mothers, siblings help the groom, and sometimes, if necessary, the other relatives, like cousins, will help, the groom. Because among the Kurds, we believe this kind of financial support that allows two people to get married is considered a very, very good deed. People can see this kind of situation as a kind of good deed that God will give them an account, because it's really good deed that they push two people, to get married and avoid them from sexual activity outside of marriage. That's why people will support them financially. That's really important for the Kurdish mindset.
All right. So now we have the dowry. We have do we talk about the contract? What's in the formal contract?
I think in the formal contract, the judge will ask the amount of gold that you are agree upon. Yeah, it's all about the gold.
It's all about the gold. And even, you mentioned judge, but we had something in the research call notes about the mullah also being a part of the formal marriage contract. Is it the same, Shabin?
They also have the pay money also, actually, like we say, muqaddam and mu'akhar. And the judge, he will ask, do you accept? That says your muqaddam. That says mean he will pay the first time. And maybe if they are divorced or something like this, he can pay more.
Yeah, Shabin more than me about this one. That's
So you're saying he can even put in what the expense would be if you tried to divorce or in this marriage. This is how much you would have to pay.
It's like the imagines like this is like the view. It's like the beginning and ending. Beginning Gawat Muqaddam, he pay $25,000. But people, what they do, they put a lot for the mu'akhar if they have a divorce.
I think, Shabi, it depends on who is asking for divorce. If the woman is asking for divorce, I think she doesn't have any right to have this amount of money. Am I right or not?
No, the people, when they go to judge, the judge, he will ask, okay, you muqaddam is this, how many dollars? And this, you are muakhar, how many dollars? But people in here, they put muakhars a lot because they thinking if they are had divorced, that mean they will take a lot of money from the man. That is happening, and it's still happening in here actually.
And who takes that money in the event of a divorce?
The woman, the bride.
Yes. So that money and the gold is meant to serve as a sort of insurance in case of divorce, or even just a incentive for the couples to stay married if things are hard. Because if marriage ends in divorce, well, then that means that the man and the man's family is going to have to pay a lot of, it's going to be a large financial loss for them.
Be a lot of money, the man, he cannot divorce his wife.
Yeah.
That's other.
I've heard some cases that sometimes they don't ask for divorce because of these, obstacles that exist in the marriage contract.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it sounds like a large focus then in the marriage contract is actually just financial then in nature. The cost to get in, the cost to get out. Is that more or less what I'm hearing?
Yeah. Aunts, gift for mom, gift for the sister. We still have this like engaged.
Okay. So there's more. And is that in the contract or is that just the social expectation?
I think some people put in contract. Some people, not all of them. Some people. But other people just like, oh, they don't care. I give my wife's mom one necklace, gold, maybe her sister ring or other, but it's be gold actually.
Gold. Gold is best.
Shabin, while your husband is an American, and I think in America, white gold is common, not the yellow gold. How did you deal with this condition? Do you ask for the white gold or, the yellow gold?
No, I love white.
Oh, the white.
And I didn't ask for gold, actually. I don't want any gold. Yeah, because, we don't have mullah. We don't have, how we say, concrete. We don't have this. We have we promise everything's mine in home and everything's his is mine.
Yeah.
That's great. Okay. Yeah. Well, we are about 6 steps into the process now. We have the agreement on the dowry and we have now the marriage contract and now we have to have a party.
Yes.
Right.
That's really important. Everyone is waiting for this one because those things could be done secretly and not publicly. Relatives are waiting for having fun and joyful party.
This isn't the marriage. This isn't the wedding. This is not, we're not there yet.
Yeah.
What's this party?
We're not there yet. Yeah, that's right.
You said this is going public with the relationship. So what kind of party are we having here?
Yeah. So after the marriage contract is signed from the court, a day is set for a ceremony called the engagement contract ceremony or the ring exchange party or we say khutuba in Iraqi Kurdistan, in southern Kurdistan. The bride and groom invite their relatives to the ceremony, usually in the evening. It should be happening in the evening at the bride's house. So the bride does not wear a white dress on this day because she should wear the white color in the grand wedding day. The final one. So the bride and groom usually wear Kurdish clothes, especially in some areas. That's what I've observed from my experience in southern Kurdistan. So at the ceremony, the bride and groom put rings on each other's finger. There are a lot of sweets, drinks, but not wine. Especially that's right for Muslims. Joyful songs are played. People celebrate and they do Kurdish dances and they will take pictures with the people, with themselves and with the potential wife and the groom. According to each family, the bride-groom, agreement. It's not the main party, but in some ways, people will share a meal together. But of course, they will have, let's say, sweets and drinks together and doing dances. It's one of the great important party that's happening right after the marriage contract from the court. I'm not pretty sure about the other parts of Kurdistan. I don't know what does look alike for Shabin, especially in Rojava in Western Kurdistan. But our people, it's totally optional. Some of them, they don't want to have this kind of party. Just having an engagement contract orally by a mullah is done, and just taking normal photos without having any party, doing Kurdish dances. They skip this kind of party. But to be honest, it's very, very common nowadays, and people give a lot of weight to this party after the engagement contract.
Shabin?
Yeah, we don't have this. We have a party, but before Mullah, and go to concrete and make concrete and Mullah. That's before the engaged party, actually. That's after. Engaged party, we just, my family, not my dad and mom, but my cousins, my aunt, my uncle, they will know I'm engaged. And his family also, he will come with a lot of men, maybe. If his family is very big, he will coming with 20 men, maybe 30 men. It's okay. He will come
Need
with
a
a
lot of
lot of,
chairs.
yeah. We need big house. Yeah, they will come with flour and a lot of sweet and drink, and my dad, he will, okay, now we are here because you want, like, ask your daughter, we ask you to give us your daughter. And he was like, yes, sure, we give it. I think here, if they are Muslim, they was like, okay, let us read Fatiha. They will talk after. That's after they talking about how many golds and how many they are agree with everything. And it's the part. And after they can Malak coming. He will write everything what they are agree about, how many goals, how many things. That's after engaged party. I think in Rojava and in here in Duhok also is the same.
You're right, Shabin. Since the Duhok province, the people there are speaking in Bahdini, which is a kind of Kurmanji dialect or sub-dialect. That's why I think you have so much similarities culturally with the Hoki people, Bahdina area. That's right. Linguistically, does matter here because it's going to unify the norms and the rituals, right?
All right. So now we've had an engagement party and we have an engagement period of time, which Sarhad, you said could be a week, could be a year.
Yeah,
is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Because it can be between a week or a year. But as I said earlier, our people prefer to have short amount of engagement period because we believe that we are afraid that a situation will arise and bride and groom will separate because of the weakness of the weak people. So that's why they said, okay, let's process faster. It's not wise to have say 1 year, 6 months as a fiancé. You may have sex. While our Kurdish mindset, it's not wise to practice or to act like a wife and a husband. Maybe people will talk very badly about one another, about just to destroy the relationship between this potential bride and groom. That's why culturally we push them just to shorten the engagement period.
So with that in mind, you have the actual wedding ceremony, which I believe you called transition day, on the calendar. But before we get to transition day, we need something else to happen to help kind of formally begin the breaking of this engagement period. And I think you called it Henna Night?
Yes, Henna Night.
Tell us about that?
Yeah, Henna Banda.
Shabin, you said yes. Shabin, what is Henna Night?
Shabin knows more about that because, it's totally a female occasion, not a male one.
Yeah, I think that's a party is for women. The women's love to do it. They put henna before the people coloring his hair with henna. We say henna, they say henna. Here say henna too. They made the party and the bride, she need cry.
You should cry at first.
She has to show her sadness, right? That she's leaving her family and she's leaving her parents. And so it's really important, and you said on the call, even if you have to cut onions to make her cry, it's really important that she cries. And then you can celebrate after she cries.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, she can. Everyone, they will say a sad song, the beginning, and just let her just cry. If she's not crying, that's something not good. But she needs she needs to have a red dress. If it's a Kurdish dress or other dress, but it need be red.
It should be red. And I think, Shabin, I'm not sure if I'm right or wrong, and her friends or her relatives should wear the black dress, isn't it?
Actually, I don't know about if they need have a black or not, but I think his mom, she need have a black.
The mom. Yeah, that's right.
The mom, she needs to have a blood. And if she still have a sister, in home. But if the last sister is okay. Yeah. And actually they put also like henna in her hand, and she cannot open it. After she's cry, she will put and she will open it the next day.
In Henna Night, so the relatives and the friends will bring food and sweets. I think that's right in some areas, just to share the meal and sweets together in the occasion, in the party. It should be done in night, not in a day. It should be done in the bride's family house.
Yeah.
I was going to say, just in case any of our listeners don't know, henna is like a very historic dye, reddish brown color. It's used all over this part of the world to make these temporary tattoos on women and to give them these beautiful designs. So here, the henna bandan, these beautiful designs on their hands and their feet. It's a part of their preparing them to be beautiful for the wedding party.
Okay, so these temporary tattoos will still be visible on the day of the wedding ceremony. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you don't want to do them on your face, maybe.
Not like the Indians.
So we're doing them on our hands and our ladies' hands and feet. And so it sounds like an emotional roller coaster. You said it starts with tears and sad songs, but then eventually gets to some treats and happier songs and hand and feet temporary tattoos. And so once this event is over, we're just hours, maybe a couple days away from the official ceremony. Is that right?
The night before the wedding party.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, which we've also called transition day in our research call. So yeah, get me up to speed. What's now is Westerners think of when we say we're gonna get married. It's the wedding day.
Yeah, that's the stage one.
Okay.
And most important part, Stephen, the entire marriage process in Kurdish culture. It's the main event, and we call it the transition day. Literally means Roji Guasnawa. It means moving the bride to her new home from her father's house. From this day forward, the bride and groom can live together as husband and wife. Therefore, it's considered the biggest event of the marriage process. So that's the biggest event in the marriage process entirely, completely. So, but it's important to say that I think Shabin mentioned earlier, before the transition day, let's say maybe perhaps 1 week before the wedding day, before this grand wedding party happening, the groom's family must offer the bride an amount of money. For example, agreed open on the engagement contract or orally the official visit, just to let the bride to buy her necessities, what she needs. The bride will go to shopping with her mother or with her sister just to buy her needs. It's happening before the wedding party. So I think based on what I've observed from my area, especially in Erbil, I think this amount of money, it starts with between 2 million to 5 million Iraqi dinars. You know, it varies based on the economic condition of the groom's family. Because, I mean, we have to let the bride be ready for the transition day and especially after the wedding party as well, just to have some necessity as a new bride.
And just to give our listeners an idea, that's somewhere between around $1,400 to $3,500 US. When we think about the ceremony itself, where are weddings traditionally held and what are some things we can expect to see people wearing? And if you're going to attend an official wedding celebration, what are you going to be seeing?
So in the past, Stephen, traditional Kurdish clothing with the norm of the weddings. Over time, Western style clothing became fashionable for the whole guests and even the bride and groom. But today, both common. Guests, the bride and groom, can wear Kurdish outfits or the Western suit and dress. Totally mixed based on their bride and groom's agreement. For example, the bride and groom will agree to have the Kurdish outfit in the ring exchange party. Then they will have a Western dress and a Western suit in the transition day party. The guests, it's totally mixed. Some of them, they wear Kurdish outfits and some of them, they wear, especially especially what I've experienced, all the women are wearing the Kurdish outfit because women loves the Kurdish clothes more than men.
Uh-huh.
And that's why you can see all the women when they have a party, when they are waiting to join a party or participate a wedding party, they will try to go to bazaar just to buy a new fabric, to have a new Kurdish dress. But while it's totally different among the men. Men can have Kurdish outfit, Kurdish dress, clothing, or they will wear, say, the Western style, like, a suit with things like that.
Okay. Shabin, what kind of venue would you try to host this kind of party in?
The party, okay, I can add it also, like in our area in Syria, they don't before have a lot. Before, maybe for 15 years, more than 50 years, they had Kurdish clothes they did. But after they are changing, there's like suit and dress, white dress, they have it. But a lot of people, they will host a lot of people, like actually cousins and cousin, my mom cousin, my dad cousin, and my mom and I would say second cousin and neighbors. There should be my mom and dad neighbors there, and they are friends. He also his side. Sometimes the bride side, they don't invited a lot of people, but the grooms, they should invited all people they are nowhere.
I think for me, as a Kurd, it's a sad part of the marriage process. Consider that the groom's party, not the bride's party. Yeah, that's why you can see a lot of guests and friends from the groom's side, not from the bride's side.
Because the culture sort of understands the woman's side of the family is kind of losing a member, and the man's side of the groom's family is sort of, they're gaining a member, and that's part of it, is that they're celebrating because they've gained someone.
Yeah, that's why that's psychological experiment.
Which tracks in with what you talked about in the beginning of the call with the bride to bride or bride for bride, why this might seem such a preferable way of arranging marriages, of make sure families stay balanced. Can you do this outdoors? Do you need to rent a big wedding hall or concert hall? Where are you doing this kind of event?
Depends on the family, right? It depends on the family and the finances of the bride and the groom and their families.
But it depends on the families. As I said, based on my experience, especially that's right in Erbil, Southern Kurdistan, the transition day celebration can be held either in a public park or in a private event hall. So get to celebrate and taking photos. As I said, it depends on the economic situation and let's say families' preferences. So if the celebration is held in a private hall, that's something that we can expect. A singer is usually invited to perform live, to sing.
Very nice.
In a live way. People dance and enjoy the music together. I think you've been, such kind of a wedding party.
Yeah.
Even.
So fun.
So the atmosphere, in this kind of hall is lively and very, very joyful. But sometimes, the celebration is held in a simpler way, especially if you go to the Sami Abdurrahman Park.
Sami Park.
Yeah, so you can see that a lot of groom and brides together. It's much simpler. Sometimes without Kurdish songs and Kurdish dances. But to be honest, it's warm and meaningful as well. As I said, every family has their own preferences and have their own condition. That's why when they try to choose the location for their party, it's all based on their agreements, to be honest, especially from the groom's family.
Yeah. One of the things that didn't come up in the research call or at least I didn't see anything on it, that anyone who spends any time in Kurdistan, especially in one of the cities, will notice just driving around is that there are cars decked out with all kinds of wedding decorations. And is this happening on the same day as this ceremony? Has that already happened sometime in the past, where you see the bride and the groom and their car with flowers and things hanging all over the car, decorations?
It was happening intensively in the past. I believe it still exists in some areas of Kurdistan, but especially not in the main cities. But seen a lot of videos from past, especially from the 1990s or early 2000s. Seen a lot of crowds following the car of the bride and groom, and with a nice decoration with flowers, things like that.
I think it still happens quite a bit. It's one of my daughter's favorite things to do is to look at the brides in the cars. with their beautiful dresses on?
The grooms and bride's car, they will go first, and the beginning is before the grooms and bride's car, cameras man, he recording everything. And after his car,
Yeah.
is his mom and dad or his sister and brother, and a lot of cars and with a lot of horns. That's happening in Syria and still.
Really? Still happening in Syria?
Yeah, I think they are still happening. I don't know now, but
Yeah.
when I wasn't there, yes, was still happening.
Yeah, but at least they should do a decoration for the car. That's, I mean, still a part of the day.
The difference between the past and now is now you might just have the bride and groom's car decorated and driving around, whereas in the past you do have kind of wedding parades of cars, sort of a convoy of vehicles, and you might have in the front vehicle a guy in the back of a pickup truck with a video camera filming the car of the bride and the groom as they go throughout the city. So I've never seen that. I've just seen videos from the 90s of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that was the difference. You still have these really pretty souped up cars now with the bouquets on them and the ribbons, and you still have that, but you don't have the convoy.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Okay. So after the wedding celebration, then I think it seems that we kind of close this whole process with what's called the week after visit. Yeah. Can anyone share about the week after visit?
So we have another occasion just a week after the transition day. It's called Haftiana. I don't know, Shabin, what you call. I mean, do you have this occasion? The bride's relatives come to visit her in her new home. This tradition is called Haftiana in Kurdish culture. I think it's called the Sabahi in Arabic, especially in Western Kurdistan, which is simply means, Kurdish means weekly, means, a week after the transition day. So her relatives and friends will go with gifts, which can be money or household goods, just to support the bride as she settles into her new life. That day, the house will be very, very crowded, and she has a lot of guests from her side, not from the groom's side. So everyone has a gift. It could be an amount of money from an individual, or it could be household stuffs like vacuum cleaner, plates, according to the people and also their economic condition. It's one of the great occasions that optional as well, something that is expecting a week after the transition day.
And Shabin, is this like another type of like party, or is this more of a open, the whole day's open and people just kind of drop in and bring gifts?
Yeah, they are being also breakfast for them, and
a breakfast.
That is in the beginning. And people they coming and they will visit you. They will Sarhad his mentions. They will give gifts, and also in our cultures, bride she need also give the gift for the other. Yeah.
In your own culture, in your area, I mean, the bride should give gift away as well.
Yes. The bride also she get gift. It's maybe towels, shawl, maybe something like this. It's something simple.
So it's happening in the morning. That's why you say Sabahi.
When they come and they bring gifts for you for bride, the bride also she need give them something.
Okay. And does everyone come all at once? At the same time?
Some people, they go together. They share cousins, groom's cousin and sister. They need to go and have a party again. They dancing again and have a party, and they should be in there until tonight. And people, they will just coming and go. People near to them, not like far friends, they not coming the first week. They coming after 2 months.
Okay.
I've seen sometimes in some areas, especially in southern Kurdistan, so they will not come separately. They will come as a delegation by a bus. Okay.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
A busload of people showing up a week after the wedding.
Wow.
So now when the busload of people leaves, is there anything else? Any more parties? Any more gifts? Any more contracts? Or is this thing done?
Yeah. I mean, then they can live like a wife and a husband together and have kids.
All right. Great. What are some things that would be helpful? I mean, this has all been very helpful, but as a Westerner coming in, what are some things that would be helpful for us to know? Expectations around relationships, engagement, wedding, the ceremonies, the parties, that would be just helpful for outsiders coming in to know about this process.
When should we bring gifts?
After the wedding party, you may not participate in the Haftiana, but you are expected expected very nice to give them a gift after the wedding party. You can have an appointment, visit to this new family just to give them a gift. It could be a household goods or things like that. Sometimes that's the expected one.
Shabin?
Yeah, it's different. They give me the gift the same day.
Not the same day.
Yeah, the wedding day, they bring the gift actually.
Most Andrew, I've heard that once we were supposed to participate a wedding party and you couldn't able to join the party. You told me, Sarhad, can you bring this gift from me to the groom and bride? And I said, but according to our culture, it's not the appropriate time, the gift in this day. So we are expecting that we will have gifts after the wedding party. So I think among the Americans, it's okay to give gifts in the same day in the wedding party, as Shabin said.
Yeah, that's right.
She has experience with this culture.
I think it's also good for foreigners coming to Kurdish parties to know, well, the one thing we said about dressing up, it's fine to wear nice Western formal clothing or Kurdish clothing. And then the other thing to know is that Kurdish weddings are very loud. So the music is turned up a volume level that we might not be used to and our kids might not be used to. So just be prepared for that. It's loud and exciting and lots of dancing, but the volume might surprise people. And then also, if you've got your kids with you at any of these parties, engagement party, wedding, any of it, going to be a lot of sugar. There's going to be a lot of baklava and sodas. Watch your kids because things can get a little out of hand with all that sugar flowing.
Yeah,
You're right.
yeah, you're right.
Oh, that's great. We have touched on many topics today that I think we'll have to come back and do whole episodes on. Everything from Kurdish clothing to what happens after the wedding with marriage and a few other topics that I heard. So looking forward to diving in to those in the future. Andrew, anything else though, before we hop off from your research and travels that you think is important for us to consider, or anything that would add more texture or detail to what's been shared today?
Well, just maybe one footnote on this whole process. And then also we have a proverb we'd like to share. So the footnote is that some young Kurdish people, for different reasons, they prefer to skip this whole process and run away. And they do what we call in English, getting eloped. Now, this might be because their parents didn't agree to the match. There might be different reasons for this. Sometimes it might just be simpler, less expensive. There's different reasons, but this can be somewhat dangerous in Kurdish culture. If the family is really upset, they might try to chase them down. And so traditionally, young couples that do this, they've known this only works if we have a powerful person who will support us. So if they would run to a tribe and they have the support of the tribal leadership for their marriage, or they would run to another powerful sort of relative or someone who would support them, and that person then mediates and helps their families calm down and agree to the marriage and says, this is a good young couple. We support their marriage. They're an honorable young couple. You should accept them back. So that's something to be aware of. It happens sometimes in the culture. Unfortunately, sometimes can be dangerous for the young couple, but there are ways in which the culture also provides protection for them, especially through other influential figures.
Eloping. Okay, Sarhad, you have a Kurdish proverb for us as we close out this episode?
Yes, we have Kurdish proverb. It's one of the most common one in southern Kurdistan, especially from the Sorani Kurdish speakers. We say, "Daik bibina kitab khwaza." See the mother and marry her daughter. Means when you see that the mom is a good mom, then it's a good evidence that her daughter will be a good mom in the future for your kids. So without any doubt, try to marry her.
Very good. Thank you all so much for this adventure through engagement and wedding in Kurdish culture. It's been a really insightful time, and thank you all for being a part of this. Shabin, great to have you on.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right, friends, until next time, take care, and we'll see you as we discuss the bazaar.
Thanks for listening to Rushmall, the Kurdish Culture Podcast. If you found this episode helpful, we'd love it if you'd share it with others. Subscribe for even more content exploring Kurdish culture.